What's up, everybody? My name is OMG, WTF, LOL, FTW, BRB. Welcome back to more of the WWE versus TEW series, the not-so-weekly series where we take the events and shows that the WWE books, run them in the game to see just how well the WWE does against TEW, or if Total Extreme Wrestling will be the company that brings the WWE down to its knees. Today we are booking Hell in a Cell 2018, main evented by Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns, battling over the Universal Championship inside the Hell in a Cell. So let's just stop wasting time. You guys have been waiting a long time for this show, so let's get it out of the way. Pay-per-views seem to be a little longer anyway, so get it out of the way quickly, I guess. 64 solid C rating as we have our opening angle over on the pre-show, as we have a little bit of a war of words back and forth between the New Day and Aiden English. Of course, the New Day is excited to be facing Rusev Day for the Tag Team Championships, but they ain't gonna just give them the titles. They're eventually interrupted by Aiden English when Big E's ready to sing his own jingle. They go back and forth, clearing their throats until Aiden finally starts singing, and he and the Brute are destined to win, apparently, as we're getting ready for our Tag Team Championship matchup here. Does that say Aiden's not suited to his gimmick? When did that happen? I guess that's another person. Look at all these gimmicks. Luckily, I have some time after Hell in a Cell, because I won't start uploading Raw on them until next week, so I can fix a lot of this stuff, but still. Gimmick, gimmick, gimmick. Okay. Yes. So our opening match of the night is on the pre-show, and it is for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. And a decent pre-show matchup here. The New Day? Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. It was actually Kofi Kingston and Big E, but that is going to be the problem that we face with this New Day title reign, is the fact that Big E, or you can't really defend the championships because he didn't win the championships. Kofi and Woods won the championships, and I don't believe there's a way to get the Freebird rule in this game, so that's something that they'll have to hopefully fix in 2019, but until then, this is what we have. 67 C+ rating for the matchup. I forgot Big E and Kofi are a poor combination. I probably should have just left that alone and had Xavier get managed by Big E. Nonetheless, though, decent pre-show matchup here. The New Day goes over Rusev Day in 10 minutes, 18 seconds after Kofi Kingston defeated Aiden English with the diving stomp slash backbreaker combo. I don't know if that's what I think he just beat him with a Trouble in Paradise or something, but nonetheless, though, they do make their first defense of the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Rusev was head and shoulders above everybody else. 67 C+ here, and no turn. I thought there was going to be a turn, but I guess not. I guess I was wrong. Of course, Rusev and Lana have their good chemistry. Big E helping out here tonight. Aiden not suited to his gimmick. Woods and Big E have excellent chemistry, but Kofi and Big E do not. They have very poor chemistry. Face turns are still being hinted at. Aiden English with an in-ring performance of a 51. Rusev with an impressive 72. Kofi Kingston with a 63. And Xavier Woods with a 55. Aiden not too far from Woods. Rusev also improving in his technical skills, so good for him. We then have our open for Hell in a Cell, the pay-per-view. The cold open for the show, 67 C+ rating here. It's kind of broken down in two parts because I wasn't able to fit everybody into the one part. So the first part's featuring, of course, the feuds between Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair, The Miz and Daniel Bryan, Alexa Bliss and Ronda Rousey, and Samoa Joe and AJ Styles. And then our second part of the Hell in a Cell cold open, which is a 71 B-. By the way, I apologize if you guys hear a vacuum cleaner in the background. I just realized that somebody's vacuuming on the outside, so I apologize if you hear that throughout the video. That's going to be quite annoying, but I've got to get this going, baby. I'm sorry. 71 B- for the... Oh, and there goes my dog. Part 2 of the Hell in a Cell opening as we hype up both our Hell in a Cell matches between Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton, and then between Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman, which, of course, Mick Foley, who showed up tonight, he'll be the special guest referee. Opening match of the night is 1 out of 2, or our first out of 2, I should say, Hell in a Cell matchups here. 72 B- rating here. We have a good matchup with Randy Orton going over Jeff Hardy inside the Hell in a Cell. And 25 minutes, 49 seconds after the RKO. That is just not true. The match, of course, ended after Jeff Hardy had Randy Orton set up onto the table, and he started swinging like he was Dick Grayson from the Batman comics from the the ceiling of the Hell in a Cell before trying to hit a splash on the Randy Orton. I legitimately thought this guy was going to do a front flip, like swing into a front flip. I was going to be like, Jeff Hardy, you insane. No, he just did a splash, but nonetheless hits the splash through the table because Orton moved out of the way, and despite him being hurt, which I thought this was kind of interesting from the referee, he's all like, no, Randy, Jeff's hurt, he can't continue, and Randy goes, yelling at him to count, and I'm sitting here thinking to myself, when Randy was hurt, you didn't have a problem continuing the match then. I just thought it was a little interesting how, because Jeff was hurt, they had to, make the match go away. Nonetheless, though, match itself was pretty good. Probably the best out of the two Hell in a Cell matches, because let me tell you, a little bit of a spoiler for the main event, but I wasn't a fan of Roman versus Braun. Maybe it's because it was the main event and I was already kind of tired, but I have a feeling it wasn't because of that. Nonetheless, though, a lot of crazy things happened in this matchup. At one point, we all know what happened. Orton took like the screwdriver and had that one moment where he's just like twisting it in Jeff's ear. That was pretty sickening. I'm surprised they didn't go to the outside of the ring. I guess that's the problem with being the first Hell in a Cell matches of two. You're not really allowed to ruin the cell. But I'm just kind of surprised they didn't go to the outside of the ring. It just seemed like something that Jeff would have wanted to do. I was expecting a Swanton bomb off the top of the cell, but like still in the ring. Like that's how I thought they would get around it, is maybe break one of the top portions of the cell and then have Jeff just hit a Swanton through that. But they did what they did. Still a good match. I enjoyed it. Jeff Hardy taking a stump bump, mostly because he refused to take a legit bump. Jeff was off his game, which is unfortunate, and he sustained a strained quadricep. Now, that's interesting. I thought I took injuries off here. Now, I'm not really too worried about it, because I'm certain that this means Jeff Hardy is, going to be pretty much taking a break himself, but I could have swore I turned off injuries. So that's interesting that happened. I guess we'll have to see what happens when it happens. But like I said, I do think he is taking some time off. Could be wrong, but I better hope now. Byron Saxton, weak at the announce table. Not to be, it's not a surprise. Did get the crowd hotter. Randy Orton with an in-ring performance of an 81. Good Lord. Jeff Hardy with a 67. Definitely was off his game tonight. Orton improving in his performance. And yes, Christian, we know about Jeff Hardy's strained quadricep. We'll see what happens there. 70, what the hell, why did I say that so weird? 76 B- rating here as the EMTs then come out to check on Jeff Hardy, where Randy Orton just kind of walks away satisfied with what he's done. 75 B- rating as Dasha Fuentes interviews AJ Styles backstage about his upcoming match against Samoa Joe. Styles promises to rip Joe's heart out. Bit dark, but I guess that's what you get for going after somebody's family. Gain some heat for the feud. 61 solid C rating as we're getting ready for our SmackDown Women's Championship match. We have the video package for Becky Lynch taking on Charlotte Flair. And then we have our championship introductions. Greg Hamilton introducing the challenger, Becky Lynch, and the champion, Charlotte Flair. Match itself gets a 55 C-. You'd honestly expect this probably to do a little bit better. I honestly thought this would have maybe been a C+, a B-, but 55 C-. I mean, it's not bad, but again, I figured this would have done probably a little bit better. But anyway, decent matchup here. Becky Lynch goes over Charlotte Flair in 13 minutes, 24 seconds with a quick roll-up, winning the SmackDown Women's Championship. So Becky backs up her words. She comes away as the SmackDown Women's Champion. Match itself, honestly, probably could have been a little better. Not saying it was a bad match, but I was expecting probably a little bit more from these two. Now, granted, the feud will most likely continue on forward, and we will have probably better matches as we move forward into the future. But I figured with the first match of the feud and how personal this feud has gotten, it would have been a lot more of a hard-hitting affair. Where I just didn't get that vibe from this matchup, if I'm going to be honest with you guys. It didn't feel as hard-hitting as I was expecting it to be. And the Flash pinfall, which by the way happened a lot tonight, Flash pinfalls. It seems like every match ended with some sort of like quick pinfall. But nonetheless, the pinfall itself kind of threw me off too. It's like, you would think, like I said, again, with all this hatred, that we would have had a little bit more of a decisive victory. Or maybe if Becky was cheating, a little bit more of an aggressive way to cheat. Like maybe using a weapon or something to beat her, not something like cheap where it's like, oh, let me put my feet on the ropes, or a flash pinfall out of nowhere. So that's just kind of my 2 cents on it. Nonetheless, it still was a good match. Super happy that Becky Lynch won the championship. Definitely deserves it, especially after her recent heel work too. She's blown it out of the park. So Becky had an in-ring performance of a 52. Charlotte Flair with a 59. Worker improvements, there are none. Becky Lynch wins the championship. And then afterwards, 64 solid C rating here as Charlotte tries to be the bigger woman and goes over to shake Becky Lynch's hand. But Becky's not going to let her take her moment ever again as she leaves her standing there as she walks away the new SmackDown Women's Champion. Gained some heat for their feud as well. 57 C- rating here as we get a recap from the pre-show bout between The New Day and Rusev Day. Of course, New Day retaining the championships over against Rusev Day. 66 C+ rating here as the New Day's all hanging out backstage, just doing New Day things when Kofi Kingston disappears and Kramer Kingley appears. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I feel like he goes by something else, but as I was typing this out, I couldn't remember his last name, so I was like, you know what, maybe it is Kingley. But Kramer Kingley appears, of course, the alter ego of Kofi Kingston, who puts on a blonde wig and starts to interview people. And he interviews the New Day about their next championship defense, which is going to be against The Bar, Cesaro and Sheamus at the Super Showdown. So there you got that to look forward to. Super Showdown is our next pay-per-view. 66 C+, speaking of the Super Showdown, not only will a New Day defend against The Bar, but we will have a triple threat tag team matchup as The Shield, Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins team up to take on the Dogs of War, Braun Strowman, Drew McIntyre, and Dolph Ziggler. There we go. 67 C+ rating as the Raw, almost said SmackDown, Raw Tag Team Championships are on the line. And about that had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd here. Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler go over the Shield. Of course, the Shield being represented by Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins tonight in 13 minutes, 46 seconds after Dolph Ziggler defeats Seth Rollins with a fast roll-up. Not really, but we'll get to that. McIntyre and Ziggler make their second defense of the Raw Tag Team Championships. What a match here tonight. Probably the best match of the night. These two teams killed it, and the ending itself was fantastic. I mean, spot after spot, they were going crazy tonight. Hard-hitting action. Ambrose not pulling his punches, which I like to see. I like to see Ambrose a little bit more aggressive since he returned. But the one thing that did strike me as odd is the fact that despite, them being the Shield, Rollins and Ambrose came out separately. Maybe that's because, the Shield was banned or something like that, and that's what they're kind of trying to play off of, but still a little weird that they didn't come out together. Also, what I find a little weird is how the Rusev Day storyline has been way better than this storyline, and yet Rusev Day didn't get on the main card, and this match was literally just made on Raw this week, and it found its way on the card. Kind of a shame for Rusev Day, who, in my opinion, deserved it probably a little bit more. Could have bumped something else on the pre-show, that's all I'm saying. But the ending, I should say, the match ending, when Seth Rollins was setting up Dolph Ziggler for kind of like that double suplex. He hits the superplex from the top turnbuckle at first, and then he lifts Dolph Ziggler up for a second one. But while that's happening, Drew McIntyre comes out of nowhere, hits the Claymore kick onto Seth Rollins. Dolph's able to cover him. 1, 2, 3, and after an unexpected Claymore kick, Ziggler and McIntyre retain the tag team titles. Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose apparently have great chemistry when teaming with each other. That's awesome. Dean Ambrose with an in-ring performance of an 82, outperforming everybody. Seth Rollins with a 79, Drew McIntyre with a 65, and Dolph Ziggler with a 69. I wonder why Dean Ambrose does so much better than the other Shield members. Maybe it's because he really hasn't lost all that much since returning? I don't know. He just seems like he does a lot better than the other ones. I mean, in 82, 79 is still not that far, but 82? Why does Ambrose do so much better? They have around the same pop. Ziggler is improving in his Rumble and technical skills, so good for him. Braun Strowman meets with Mick Foley backstage to get a 70 C+. Foley and them kind of have a little bit of a talk where Foley just kind of, I don't really remember everything that was said, I'll be honest with you. This one kind of I missed. I was talking to my little brother at the time, but god damn it, I forgot to take Dolph Ziggler off of Braun Strowman tonight. That's okay. But nonetheless, though, it's pretty much just Braun telling Foley, stay out of my way, or you're going to have a monster problem. And Foley tells him good talk. So there you have that. Apparently Ziggler helping Strowman. I don't know how Ziggler got from the ring to the back in time, but he did. And Foley, debuting his legend gimmick, got an initial rating of awful. Okay. 71 B- rating as it is time for the WWE Championship match. We have our video package for Samoa Joe and AJ Styles, and it was the little storytelling thing, so good job, WWE. Great video package. 52 D+ rating here as we get our WWE Championship introductions. Greg Hamilton introducing the challenger, Samoa Joe, and AJ Styles, the champion. Apologize if you hear any noise in the background. There might be an argument going on. Oh boy, the joys of living with your parents still sometimes. Not my parents are arguing, by the way. More like my brother and my parents. Giving you guys a little bit of a sneak peek into my life there, I guess. 73 B- rating here. First thing I notice is Joe's stamina is apparently low, so we'll have to edit that ourselves. Just add to the list of more to do. But nonetheless, 73 B- for the matchup here. I think it did better than their SummerSlam bout, and a bout that had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. AJ Styles going over Samoa Joe in 19 minutes 43 seconds with a surprise roll-up, making his 11th defense of the WWE Championship. The controversy surrounding this match is AJ Styles was locked in the coquina clutch, and while the referee was counting, he did not have a good view of AJ Styles actually tapping out. So Samoa Joe is kind of livid because he technically won the championship. Corey Graves even saw it. He's going looking for Paige after this as well, while AJ pretty much kind of gets out by the skin of his teeth. If I'm going to be honest with you guys again, though, maybe I'm just expecting a little too much from these guys because I remember their TNA days, but Joe and AJ have been a little bit disappointing to me. I'm not going to lie. I'm feeling like maybe I'm going and expecting too much. That might be what it is, but for some reason, both of their matches from SummerSlam and now Hell in a Cell, I've just kind of sat there more and been like, found myself trying to stay awake. And again, like I said, this could, just been from fatigue of watching it almost all day, but still. Definitely been a little disappointed with their matches and their feud, kind of. But Joe was visibly tiring towards the end of the match, which we are going to have to fix. Joe and AJ Styles do have great chemistry, though, and it showed in their performance. Saxton's still weak, of course he is. Samoa Joe with an in-ring performance of a 67, and AJ Styles with an 82. Styles is killing it. Improving in his performance skills as well. Good for AJ. 68 C+ rating, as afterwards, like I mentioned, Samoa Joe is in disbelief because he should have won that match. AJ Styles tapped out, and Styles goes ahead and kind of takes out Samoa Joe, and he's kind of posing in the ring while Joe is just livid, like I said, going up to the the rampway, looking for Paige pretty much. And we get another camera angle on the pin because the first one we really couldn't tell, and the camera angle clearly shows that yes, indeed, AJ Styles taps out, and Joe technically should have won that match, but the referee's decision, of course, will stand. 76 B- rating here as Ronda Rousey is warming up for her upcoming match against Alexa Bliss, while Natalya just kind of gives her some words of advice backstage. 65 solid C rating as Charlie Caruso gives an interview to The Miz and Maurice about their upcoming match against Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella. Oh boy, here comes the match. 66 C+ rating as we get our video package for Miz and Maurice taking on Bryan and Brie Bella. And let me just tell you guys something about this upcoming match, okay? So, similar to the situation with Brie Bella, Maurice's contract does not, she's not contracted to compete. She's only contracted to be her manager. So I had to renegotiate with her, and I had a feeling this was going to happen because what can go wrong will go wrong in the WWE versus TEW series. That is just kind of the philosophy I've adopted for this series. And Maurice did not put pen to paper like Mick Foley did it on Raw, and we had to replace her with somebody. So Maurice will have a stunt double tonight playing her pretty much. So with that being said, let's get to our matchup. Mixed Tag Team action, 67 C+ rating as The Miz and Carmarisa. I mean, come on. They look just alike. If R-Truth can confuse Carmella for Maurice, I can confuse Carmella for Maurice. In fact, I don't know what you guys are talking about. I see Maurice. I don't see Carmella. What are you talking about? Not me. Anyway, Miz and Carmarisa taking on Bryan and Brie. 67 C+, decent matchup here. Miz and Carmarisa go over Bryan and Brie Bella in 13 minutes, 41 seconds after Carmarisa goes over Brie Bella with a quick cradle. Apparently she was the weak link, struggling to keep up with everyone else's in-ring performance. I'd imagine Maurice would have been the same way, to be honest. With that being said, though, look at that. Miz and Maurice have great chemistry. And yes, I mean tag team chemistry. That's Maurice. What are you talking about? Duh. They have great chemistry. Brie Bella getting better at her gimmick. Ignore that face turn. Marisa with an in-ring performance of a 39. The Miz with a 72. Wow, only 1 point below Daniel Bryan. Brie Bella with a 49 and Bryan with a 73. Best of the match. Brie Bella making the best of her appearance here tonight, improving her Rumble technical and performance skills. Good for her. 73 B- rating here as we get a recap of the Hell in a Cell match between Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy from earlier in tonight. Get a quick update on Jeff Hardy's medical, as apparently he was throwing up blood and whatnot at the hospital. We now know he has a strained quadricep, but whatever. 67 C+ rating as it is time for the Women's Championship. The Ronda Rousey Alexa Bliss video package plays. And then we go to our championship introductions. But before we can get to that, we have to hype up the fact that that at the Super Showdown with the 55 C- rating here, Ronda Rousey will team up with the Bella Twins to take on all 3 members of the Riot Squad. Poor Liv Morgan. Now it is time for the championship introductions. 51 D+ rating as JoJo introduces the challenger, Alexa Bliss, alongside, of course, her good friends Alicia Fox and Mickie James, and the champion, Ronda Rousey, alongside her good friend, Natalya. So we jump into the matchup itself. 62 solid C rating here, and about that had a decent reaction from the crowd. Wow, that match did pretty good despite the fact that they don't click. It did better than Charlotte and Becky, to my surprise. Ronda, your popularity kills this stuff. Decent reaction from the crowd, subpar wrestling to it. Ronda Rousey goes over Alexa Bliss in 15 minutes, 21 seconds. Yeah, you're telling me this match was long. By submission, we also saw, Alicia Fox and Mickie James interfere throughout the match, but it did not help because at the end of the day, Rousey able to make Alexa Bliss tap out and make her first defense of the Raw Women's Championships. And apparently Alexa Bliss's stamina needs to be improved, so let us go ahead and do that as well. But yeah, this match went on for a long time, and my God, was it boring. This match literally almost put me to sleep. Like, I found myself dozing in and out throughout this match. It was not a good match. Don't know why they gave these two 15 minutes, but next time, the SummerSlam, that was great. You knew what you were getting into. You knew Alexa Bliss wasn't the best in-ring worker, and you knew Ronda Rousey was new. So that was fine. Here, what the hell are you guys doing? So Alexa Bliss was visibly tired towards the end. We'll have to fix that. Mickie James doing some good work ringside. Alexa Bliss and Ronda Rousey just don't click. We knew that heading into this match because of SummerSlam, but what can you do? We have to ignore it and just go ahead through it. Bliss with an in-ring performance of a 37. Ronda Rousey with a 67. Definitely doing better than Alexa Bliss. All right, 71 B- rating as Samoa Joe is pretty much screaming at Paige about the championship matchup. He's pretty much calling for referee Ryan Tran's job because he messed up the count. Ryan Tran's having a difficult night. He got yelled at by Randy Orton, and now his job's on the line because Samoa Joe feels that he messed up. Nonetheless, though, Paige isn't going to fire the referee. The decision stands, but she agrees that there should be a winner, which kind of makes me feel like this is getting the Shinsuke Nakamura AJ Styles treatment. There needs to be a winner, so we're going to have you guys go across the country to Australia or India, like they did with Styles and Nakamura, and we're going to have like a no DQ match or something like that. I don't think the no DQ match was at the Greatest Royal Rumble, but it's pretty much the same thing that AJ versus Nakamura followed. Nakamura and AJ ended in a, both their matches ended in kind of like a tainted little finish. So we have a no disqualification match or something to decide who the winner. Nonetheless, though, Joe versus Styles will take place at the Super Showdown in Melbourne, Australia, with the WWE Championship on the line. 75 B- rating as we also hype up that at the Super Showdown, John Cena will be there, and he'll be teaming up with Bobby Lashley to take on the team of Kevin Owens and Elias. And of course, I don't know if you guys know this by now, but Triple H will be taking on The Undertaker for the final time at the Super Showdown. Might be the first time you're hearing that, though. 73 B- rating as it is main event time. We get our video package for Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns. And then we have our championship introductions along with the special referee introductions. So, of course, Mick Foley being introduced. And then, of course, JoJo introducing the challenger and the Monster in the Bank cashing in his Money in the Bank briefcase. Can't forget that. Braun Strowman and the champion Roman Reigns. And we jump into the Hell in a Cell matchup here. And it gets a 61 solid C rating here. I'd say that's kind of accurate, to be honest. In a good matchup, Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns end up actually drawing with each other. And 23 minutes, 41 seconds after the match descended into chaos when Brock Lesnar got involved. A lot of interference throughout this match, though. It says Ziggler and Ambrose distracted Ziggler and McIntyre distracted Reigns, and Rollins and Ambrose distracted Strowman. Not necessarily. It's really the only way that I can ensure that they're in this matchup here. But about halfway through the match, while Roman and Strowman were just kind of, laying in the ring forever, Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler try to come out to get into the cell, and then the Shield come out to prevent them from getting in the cell. We have a big brawl between them. They end up going on top of the cell, all four men. Eventually, Dolph Ziggler and Seth Rollins pulled the whole Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins spot from their Hell in a Cell, and they brawl on the side of the cell before falling off the cell through the announce tables, both of them. I don't know what happened to Ambrose and McIntyre. I don't remember seeing them ever get off the top of the cell, but eventually Brock Lesnar's music hits. Out comes the former Universal Champion, kicks the cell door down, pretty much takes it to both Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns, pretty much ending the match where it is with no decided victor, as both superstars just kind of lay there beaten and brutalized by the beast, Brock Lesnar. This match, it was very Like, it started off pretty good. There was a lot of hard-hitting action when it was just Roman and Braun, and I was enjoying it. I was like, okay, this match can get good. I knew Brock Lesnar was going to come out. That was like the only thing that was actually really spoiled on this pay-per-view for me. I thought Rusev Day splitting up was spoiled, but I guess it wasn't. With that being said, though, I feel like the real downside to this match wasn't Brock Lesnar. Like, a lot of people blame the fact, oh, the match had to end with Brock Lesnar coming out and all that. And to me, that was fine. I think that was fine. What really threw it off was the Shield and Drew McIntyre and Ziggler coming out, because they practically had their own little mini match. Like, we had Braun and Roman, they were brawling, and then I forget exactly what happened, but they were both out in the middle of the ring pretty much for pretty much the entirety of the rest of the match. And then the Shield and the Shield and Ziggler and McIntyre, they do their brawl and all that, have their little bit of a mini match, which kind of took away from the match, because here we are now focusing on these four people who aren't even in this matchup. And then Brock Lesnar's music hits, and he just ends the match for us. So that's where I feel the fault was, is we have the Shield and them come out, they brawl, takes us out of the match, and then Brock just ends the match. So it's like, what the hell? What happened to the match? I feel if they would have not have had the Shield come out and then had Brock come out on his own and just start beating the hell out of Braun and Roman, even worse, like, I mean, like, suplexing them up against the cell, like, make it look like a bloody beatdown. Make it look like these guys literally cannot compete. Have Brock Lesnar destroy them to make him look like he's pissed. That was the problem. You had the Shield interference with McIntyre and Ziggler that took too much of the match time, and then Brock really not looking as destructive as you would kind of hope someone Brock Lesnar would look. Ziggler doing some good work ringside. Again, ignore that. He shouldn't have been Braun's manager. I should take him off. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and make a note of that. Let's do that. Take Zig off Stro. There we go. It's not enough selling on display here. It doesn't surprise me. All Roman Reigns knows how to do is cough. And Braun Strowman, I don't expect him to sell. Did suffer from a lack of psychology. Braun Strowman with an in-ring performance of a 71. Roman Reigns with a 78, but it did go ahead and lose heat for the Braun Strowman and Roman feud and Drew McIntyre Dolph Ziggler feud. No worker improvements as we end off the show. We get ourselves a what? A 67 C+ rating for that edition of Hell in a Cell, and it ended up losing us popularity in 23 regions. Wow, our Raws and all that have been better. Hell in a Cell did not do pretty good here. That is a shame. But who's going to get the compliments? Who had the best match of the night? So far, let's see. That's not a match. Some of these are angles. That's kind of the problem. We got a 67 for that. Wow, that did better than the main event. 73. That might be it. That might be it. Joe and them might have done it. It might be Samoa Joe. And Randy Orton, he was just 1 point behind. So we'll give it to Orton since he won. Better yet, we'll give it to Jeff since he got injured. So let's do AJ Styles. We'll compliment on a good performance. Samoa Joe, compliment on a good performance. Jeff Hardy will also compliment. Well, it really was Randy Orton, though. He had a really good performance. Should I give it to Jeff? He got injured. Nah. We'll give it to Orton. Compliment on a good performance. AJ Styles, scene please. Joe, scene please. Randy Orton, scene please. The speech have been given. Alright, though, guys. With that being said, that is going to be the end of this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, do me a favor. Leave me a comment. Make sure you subscribe. What do I normally say? Comment. Oh, and like. That's what it was. I skipped one. Don't forget to comment. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. This outro is going nowhere. Don't forget to hit that bell icon up in the corner there. It'll help notify you of whenever I upload videos. If you're that much of a fan, go ahead and hit it. That way you'll never not be notified, because I guess YouTube is doing something like that for now. Other than that, though, guys, don't forget to go down below in the description. Make sure to follow some of my buddies down there. I recommend following the Raging Yoshi, as always. And, of course, school started back up. He is a teacher, so he might be a little bit lackluster with some of his videos right now. Not lackluster might not have been the right word, but he might not be as uploading as often as he was before. You got my man ZachManziNVO. We're going to be doing that Fire Pro stream together for the Invasion series, but also make sure to check him out over on Twitch. He streams almost every day, mostly wrestling games. Highly recommend him. Check him out. And as always, though, that is going to be the end of this video. So my name's been OMG, WTF, LOL, FTW, BRB. Hope you guys have enjoyed. Don't forget to share this video with your friends, Facebooks, Twitters, Instagrams. I don't give a dams. Anybody you feel out there who would enjoy my content, make sure to give them a share. Help your boy out here. Get some new subscribers. Up in this bitch. I mean, guys, we're at like above 2,000. That's impressive. I know I haven't made much of a big deal about it, but I've noticed. And don't worry. I'm thinking of something. But with that being said, though, guys, I'm rambling. Let's just end off this video. I will see you guys for Monday Night Raw. Have a good. You know what? No, let's keep rambling, because I want to show you guys the emails. I want to see if we got any email for Hell in a Cell. Let's also see how long Jeff Hardy's out. Apparently, it's not injured. How is a strained quadricep not injured? Like, it's not serious enough for him to take time off. That makes me laugh. Hell in a Cell apparently went down pretty good, despite us losing popularity. What do we got here, though? Let's look at these emails before we end off this show. Oh no, Jeremy Borash's contract's coming up. We wouldn't want that to happen. We actually use Jeremy Borash, you know. He only gets paid $1,000. Jesus Christ, that's cheap. What? Oh no! Pat Patterson's retiring! Pat Patterson, you can't retire. I mean, I guess you can, but why would you wanna? We already know about Jeff Hardy. Hell in a Cell got an 8.86. 8,000 for drug testing. But here's what we're looking at. We got some... Oh my god! She pulled a Mick Foley on us. Literally the day after I need you, you resign? Get the fuck out of my face, Maurice. Wow. That's funny. Let's make sure we get Arn Anderson, Trish whatever. Complete her contract, send her down to NXT. Melina, rumor has it that she might be having a match at Evolution. Might as well go ahead and get her on her contract. Violet Payne, get her on NXT. And Rolls Gracie Dre Jr., whatever, get him over on NXT as well. So, no opinions, which I was expecting, but that is going to be the end of the video. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to share the video with your friends, Facebooks, Twitters, Instagrams. I don't give a damn. Help your boy out. Follow my buddies that I also recommended to you, and I will see you guys later. Have a good one, guys. Enjoy.